Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. So all of you people are working. You started working on DaVinci, right?
Oh, no, not now. We are
Not
going to work.
you are going to work. Okay, fine. So when you open DaVinci first time, and the latest version is 6.2. DaVinci 16.2 is the latest version. Okay, and in 16.2 we have till now 5 updates. Like that means 16.2.5 is the latest version of DaVinci. And when you open DaVinci, this is like welcome window. Can you able to see the mouse pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do one thing. Like now it's more visible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So whatever the window you are seeing on desktop is, it's a project manager, right? Whatever the projects you're working, all the project can be seen here. And about the media management and project management, we'll discuss in later sessions, like how to create database. By default, it will utilize the local database. Okay, and in later sessions we are going to see how to create a new database and how to assign the location for the database. So here by default we are seeing untitled project. I'm just using this project. Okay, just double click. Or if you want to create a new project, you can see the same project manager within the interface in bottom right corner. So can you see that one project manager here? Yeah, if you click this one also, we can able to open the project manager. So if you want to create a new project, simply click new project, and I'm naming it as day one. Okay, day one, just create. Now this is our project. Day one is our project. And so before starting any new work, it's always better to save the project, right? And within the DaVinci, we have one option called live saving. That means while working itself, it will automatically save the entire project. So to change the setting, go to DaVinci, preferences. So here in system user tab, select user. So project saving and load. Can you able to see the zoom thing within the circle? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay, fine. So click it. Now here you can see live save, right?
Yeah.
By default, it will be disabled, and even the backups also. The auto save all thing in Final Cut Pro 7, right? It will automatically saves everything. Uh, by default, it will be enabled in Final Cut Pro 7, and in DaVinci we need to enable this one only for the first time. That's it, not for every project. Okay, so click project backups, and I'm using live save also. It depends on your machine capability, your based on your hardware settings, right? So I'm otherwise it will continuously showing saving project in the middle of the working, right? So and anyway I will leave it. Click, just click save, that's it. And whatever the settings related to project, so we'll cover everything. First let's jump into the interface. They incorporated most of the things. We know that DaVinci Resolve is the first color grading application. DaVinci application, Resolve application is from DaVinci company. Blackmagic Design acquired DaVinci in 2009. So from 2009, they enhanced from color grading to compositing and even audio mixing also. So in bottom section we can able to see all the rooms, right? Media page, cut page they recently added from version 16.1, and edit page. So it's a fusion page, fusion, color page, fairlight page, deliver page. So most of the time we are working with editing page and color page. We'll see some of the fusion options also, like for chroma keying, for tracking. So we'll use fusion. And for mixing, audio mixing, in-depth audio mixing, like to create a sub mixes, and how to build a 5.1 from the scratch. Okay, so for that we'll use fairlight. And most of the times we'll use all the edit options, right? And let's jump into the media folder. If you have any doubt, so right now I am seeing 3 people in front of the camera. Anyone can just show their hand so that we can repeat the same thing if you have any doubt. Okay, okay, fine. So media page, let's about the media page. And if you want to import anything, there is no need to use the media page, but to manage the media, that means we do have lots of option to manage our content. So in media page we can able to see our hard disk, but instead of using hard disk, you can always right click and you can use the import function from here also. And we'll use most of the time menu options. Instead of shortcuts, we'll use menu options so that you can able to see where will be the option. Okay, right. And anyway, I'm using iMac, so you may see the command symbol. If it is a Windows machine, you will see control. Okay, so other than that, pretty much everything is the same. Okay, right. So import media, or even you can use maybe your, this is the same thing like Adobe. Even in the browser section, we can able to use manage and see our hard disk, right, content. So it's same like that. But in users, even whatever the regular folder you are using, you can add that thing. Like let's say most of the files may be in desktop. You can add this desktop to the favorite section. Add folder to favorite, so that we can we don't need to search the entire folder structure, right? You can see within the favorite section, I already so created a separate media for the training sessions. So this is media for DaVinci. I have already added to this. So simply click, I can able to access that thing, or even by right clicking. So import media, I can directly open. It's the same thing like any other application. So here I'm just using maybe the action. Let's say, so selecting all the clips, or we can use command. It's same other option. I'm not going to discuss all the basic things. So simply select, or even we can directly import folder also. So click open. Now everything is added in media pool. Within the media pool, we can able to preview audio, video also. And let me check the system audio. Can you able to hear the system audio? Okay, good. Now so in media pool, everything is like in thumbnail view. Here we can change the view to list and thumbnail, and within the list view we have like much of the options like we do have lots of column options, and FCP and Premier, we can always customize the column session also. We can create a presets as per our own interest, right? So let's right now in thumbnail view, and within this pane, you are seeing a master, right? It's like a master bin, and we can always create a bin by right clicking new bin, or even you can select the multiple clips, right click and create a bin with selected clips. Okay, we can always use this option, and it will automatically create it with selected clips, and we can maybe, let's say, rows. We can always rename it. It's the basic thing, but we'll discuss some other options. Like we can assign keywords other than bins. We do have lot more options like smart bins, right? Can you see the smart bin option? And see, for the smart bin, select any clip. Maybe let's say I'm selecting these 3 clips, or maybe I'm holding command key, select these 3 clips, and so come to this portion, metadata. Okay, so in metadata we can able to see lots of options like description, comments, keywords, people, right? And we can assign these options. Most of the options we can see in like earlier application in logging options. Like we can customize the metadata of the clip. Here we can add keywords. Here I'm adding, let's say, interview. And when I try to type the entire thing, it is also already showing. By default, you will get some of a keyword library, and we'll discuss how to add words to that list later. Here I'm just using keyword option. Now at the bottom of the section, click save. So it will automatically saves that keyword. Now we're not seeing anything here, right? Simply right click here, select add smart bin. Okay, click smart bin. Now within the smart bin, you can name anything. It's up to you. Maybe if it's a dailies, or maybe b-roll section, or montage shots, based on your work, you can rename this thing. And here you can choose, like if it is a media properties or clip details. And let me show you one thing. So whatever the content we added for shots and scene metadata, right? Now here in smart bin, we'll select shot and scene, select here. So in description, right, we have lots of options. Whatever the options we have seen in the metadata, same options we are seeing here. The people, select the people, right? And here contains, so we named it as interview, right? Interview. And we can able to create a smart bin by using only those clips. Okay, and even we can use all these options, right? And one more thing with the new DaVinci is, let me show you one thing. I'm just moving these clips back to the master bin. Just delete. Command A, select all the clips, right click. Here we do have one option, analyze clips for people. Analyze clips for people. So right click, just click here. It will try to analyze, identify the face of the people. Like if you have an interview, or if you have a like debate kind of thing, when you use this option, it will try to separate the people. Can you able to see the identification and everything? And it analyzed it identified most of the time. Sorry. Okay. Now, even we can able to assign a name also. Just double click. I'm adding rows, maybe double click. Sorry, just click here. Maybe
Okay,
Jack, right? And if you want to change, no, this is not Jack. We can able to assign to the maybe some other name also, right? And so click close. But here we are not seeing anything. Even with the keywords, even with the analyzed information, we are not seeing anything. Why? Because by default, the option will be disabled. If you want to enable the option, go to view menu. And here, we have smart bins and power bins. Okay, let me, sorry. It will be available in the user preferences. Okay, preferences in user, automatic smart bins for people metadata. Okay, just click here. And same thing with the keywords and everything. Just click save. And now we can able to see the people option, right? Now, if we click this one, we can able to, if you want to see only the rows clips, simply click this one. We can able to see only that person clips. Okay. So when you are doing maybe like interview kind of thing, it is very useful. Okay. And we do have lots of options in media page, but we'll try with edit page. Simply click edit page. So whatever the content we imported, we can able to see in media pool. And so I will explain about the interface with brief details. Like whatever the section you are seeing type, we do know it's a browser, right? But in DaVinci, we call it as a media pool. And this is source monitor, program timeline monitor, timeline, or we can call it simply viewer and canvas. We are like habituated to those two words, right? Viewer and canvas. And inspector window. Inspector window is like effect controls in Premiere, and as well as in motion controls in Final Cut Pro 7. This is the inspector window. So, and okay.
இல்ல இது பின்னாடி தான் இருக்கு அந்த இன்ஸ்பெக்டர் விண்டோ. இது ரெண்டுத்தையும் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணா தான் தெரியும்.
அந்த மொத பட்டன் இருக்குல
இதுவா?
Which one?
Hello? No, here only. No issue with that.
Okay, fine. Now master
so just show one more time inspector window, sir.
Yeah, okay. This is the inspector window. And when we add clips in the timeline, we'll discuss about the inspector window option. Like the basic motion things, the scaling, the transform, cropping, everything is available inside the inspector window, including keyframes and everything. It's like effect control in the Premiere Pro.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
1 minute, hold on, sir. 1 minute.
Okay.
அந்த டாப் வியூ ஆப்ஷன்ஸ்ல ஃபிட் அண்ட் விண்டோஸ் இருக்கு.
ஃபிட் விண்டோஸ் தான் இருக்கு.
100%
Review liya.
கீழ பாருங்க.
Hide video panel. Hide video panel.
Okay, sir. Proceed, sir.
Okay, fine. And as we have seen in media page, same thing, we can create bins. And there is one more thing called power bins. It's called power bins. Now we need to enable this one so that we can able to see power bins here, right? Can you see the power bins? Right? So whatever the bins we created for this project, is only available in this project, right? In day one project. Okay. But whereas power bins are, it's like a shared folder. Shared folder means whatever the content you add to the power bin, it will be available throughout any other project. If you have a stock footage or stock music files, uh, anyway, we'll use those kinds in each and every project, right? Most of the projects. At that time, you can simply add that thing into the power bins so that no need to import each and every time. Okay, within the database, it's every time available in power bins, right? You can even create a new bins also. So I have added maybe in the previous sessions I might have added this clip. So let me remove that clip. Okay, so that is the main difference with regular bins and power bins and the smart bins. Okay, so this section, it's the same thing like any other bins. We are using bins from last like 10 to 15 years, right? And yes. Okay, now here I'm creating a new bin. Let's say, for example, I'm naming it as a girl, and just select those clips by holding maybe command key, simply drag into that bin, right? And even we can able to label the bins in Premiere and Final Cut Pro, right? The colored bins. The same thing we can use even here also. We can use color tags. It's up to you, like how you manage the everything. So we can able to see color, and we do have most of the customization options. Like we can able to add colors for clips also, so that we can able to identify the particular, like we for master shot we can able to add some color to the clip. Maybe for b-rolls, for the sound effects, we can add each and we can add colors, clip color to any clip. Okay, and if you want to see the content, same like double click, drag and drop, any other things, right? So double click
for better, because vegan food is kind of coming to a new level. It's starting to get the
so same navigation controls,
recognition.
pretty much same, the JKL keys, left arrow, right arrow, frame by frame. By holding shift, we can directly jump to 1 second. Okay, and if you are working with audio, we can able to see the separate audio waveform here. Let me close the inspector window. So wherever you see these three dots, that means it will show you the more options. Okay, it will open a drop down menu. So click here, full clip audio, zoomed audio. Maybe in editing rooms, we most of the times we'll stick with the audio waveforms, right? So here I'm selecting show zoomed audio so that we can able to see
from that,
the
like,
audio waveform.
for
like
better.
Based on dialogue, we can able to make in and outs, or even if you want to see the entire audio, so we can able to see. But as for these clips, audio levels are pretty much down. Sorry for that. Okay. Now, okay. So select making in and outs, right? IO. So these are basic things, in point and out point and everything, right? And we don't have multiple selection options. If you want to make multiple in and outs in Final Cut Pro or maybe in Premiere Pro, we don't have that option, right? Within a clip, it is not possible to make multiple in and outs. But whereas in Final Cut Pro 10, we do have that option. But we can make it as a separate clip simply by right clicking. We do have this option, same that command U thing, right? Create subclip option. We can always make subclip by marking it. Okay, but same floating window. Like if you drag it to the canvas, it will show the insert, overwrite, replace, fit to fill. So most of the options you people know, right? Insert, overwrite, replace, right? Fit to fill, place on top. By seeing this option, like it's a kind of superimpose thing. Append, have you used the append option? No, right? Okay. So we'll discuss append and even rip. We have seen overwrite, but ripple overwrite is a new thing, right? Okay. Now we can directly drag it to the timeline. This is one option. Click undo, and we do have basic options like whatever the options we have seen in canvas window, the insert, overwrite and replace. Some of the options they have added in the toolbar section also. By clicking this thing, select, you can add drag and drop, or maybe simply by clicking insert, overwrite, we know that thing, right? And instead of doing that, we will add multiple clips at a time also, right? So bunch of clips I'm adding from media pool. Okay, simply drag and drop. Okay, so the shift Z and everything is the same, pretty much same. Okay, zoom in, zoom out options, and we do have that option here also, right? Fit to window, zoom, detailed zoom and everything, right? And we can use shift Z, but it will toggle the timeline view. Once you click the shift Z, it automatically fits to the timeline window, and if you click, it will automatically zoom into the timeline. Okay, shift Z. And anyway, it's a track based editing application. By default, it will overwrite everything, right? So we know how to trim, right? And we are not seeing much of the tools here. Only we are seeing only 4 tools: selection tool, okay, trim tool, and dynamic trim, as well as blade tool. So we know the selection tool as well as blade tool. There is not much to discuss in these tools, but we'll discuss about the trim tool and the dynamic trimming also, right? And where are those tools like ripple, roll, slip, slide, pen tool? We do have lots of tools in Premiere and Final Cut Pro 7, right? The speed tool and everything. They have like lengthy toolbar. But here we are seeing only 4 tools, right? So first we'll work with the selection tool. It is used to move the clips throughout anywhere, and we can use pretty much option to duplicate. It's the same in most of the editing application, right? And like so overwrite kind of thing, everything. And see, trimming and even deleting, it will automatically creates a gap, right? If you want to close this gap, select and delete. But we do have ripple delete option also. Same shortcuts, shift to delete. It will automatically closes the gap and everything. And see here, while trimming, if you don't want to see the gaps, if you don't want to add the gaps, that means if you want to, like if you want to use a ripple tool, for example, if you want to use a ripple tool, simply select the trim tool. Okay, trim tool is the combination of those tools: ripple tool, roll tool, slip tool, and slide tool. Okay, simply select the trim tool. Now it will automatically so adjust the clips. Right now we are rippling the timeline, right? So we can able to ripple. And I think you people are using roll tool also, right? Most of your work. And the same tool, if we use at the middle of the edit point, it will act as roll to, and within the canvas you can able to see all the 2 frames. Okay, and the frame by frame adjustments is the same shortcuts like Final Cut Pro 7, the less than greater than keys, right? Just let me, can you see the frame by frame, right? And you can use shift for 5 frames, multi trimming 5 frames, and you can change that in preferences also. We'll see those things in later sessions. And if you want to like trim, or if you want to row particular number of frames, like we use plus and minus thing, right? If you want to use 13 frames, if you want to trim 13 frames, or if you want to roll edit point 13 frames in FCP 7, we will use plus and minus keys. Same thing we can use by pressing minus. See here in canvas, by pressing minus, it will automatically highlights that area. We can able to, like I am entering just 10 frames. See, can you able to see the 10 frames there? Yeah. By clicking this, it will automatically trims the 10 frames. Okay. So even with the frame by frame trimming also, like we can able to same shortcuts. And if, but right now we are seeing the gap here, right? Yeah. Why? Because we are in selection tool. If we are in a trim tool, even though we did this, it will pretty much the ripple entire timeline. Okay. And whereas for slip and slide tools, you people use slip and slide tools also, right? In our regular edit, we most of the times we use slip and slide tools. Within the trim tool, if you click on the clip, it will act as a slip tool. Can you able to see the remaining portion of the clip here? Yeah. And within the canvas, right now we are seeing 4 frames. That means in and out of, let me, yeah, do with this clip. Right now we can able to see the action also, but bottom 2 frames representing the adjacent clip frames, the ending and starting frame of the adjacent clips. Okay, so that we can able to like sync properly. Even with this tool also, you can able to move frame by frame, like by using the same less than greater than keys, we can slip the content, or we can use less than greater than. So most of the things, if you have tried the DaVinci first time, you might have tried these things also, like whatever you have used in Final Cut Pro 7, most of the things are similar to Final Cut Pro 7, right? But it is only slipping. If you want to use the sliding, simply drag it to the bottom section. It will automatically changes the shape of the tool, right? It's a slip tool and it's a slide tool. So we can able to slide the clip, right? Even in the canvas also, it is showing all the 4 frames, first and last frame of the clip and adjacent frames, right? And next to that, we have dynamic trimming. Let me ask you one thing. Did you people use dynamic trim in Final Cut Pro 7 or Premiere Pro?
No, sir.
Maybe you have used that option without knowing the thing. It will open a separate window, right? While trimming the, maybe let's say for example for Adobe, it will open up a separate trim edit mode window. We can do it frame by frame and everything, right? While playing itself, we can able to adjust the edit points. So same thing we can do with the dynamic trim mode. So when I click this one, the playhead color right now, it's a red color, right? It will automatically changes to the yellow color, and it will move to the nearest edit point. Okay, it will move to the nearest edit point, and even within the dynamic trimming also, we can do slip and slide and everything. Okay. But here, while playing itself, now see, I can able to trim, and it will automatically moves back to that particular portion. Okay. While playing, if I make any changes to that particular clip, right, it will automatically pre-roll and post-roll things, right? Play around current frame kind of thing. While editing itself, we can able to see. While playing itself, we can edit. Without playing it again, we can see. And the useful thing is we can use JKL keys along with this dynamic trim. We do know about the JKL keys, right? Fast forward, backwards, right? And within the dynamic trim tool, we can use JKL keys to trim the clip. Let's say I want to trim this portion. Simply click J. It will automatically trims that portion, right? So based on your selection, and if I select only that particular edit point, it will trim. I'm just clicking J. Just by clicking J, we can it will automatically trims and extends that thing. While playing itself, we can able to. This is a very useful option. We can able to use JKL keys for trimming purpose also. Okay, and within the dynamic trim mode, we do have extend edit also. It's the same shortcut like FCP7, or I think it's the same in Premiere also, right? E. By clicking E, it will automatically trims. It automatically extends the thing, right? And one more thing in dynamic trim, here we are seeing slip and slide. Slip, slide. Okay. Same extend edit, it will like slips the content by using adjusting the frames. Let me explain with this clip. Okay, let me trim this portion. Now just observe this clip only. We will do one thing instead of this clip. Okay, one more thing, if you have a zoom in zoom out problems in the canvas or viewer, simply click Z. It will automatically fix the canvas. This option, like by simply clicking Z, it will fit the screen. Okay, and so within the trim mode, just observe the frames, maybe see her hand movement. If I click here, it will make exactly this frame as a first frame of that clip. If I click E, right? And if we have like in trim mode, it will automatically do the same thing, extend edit, right? We can trim and extend. And next to that thing, we do have blade tool. And I don't think nothing more to discuss with the blade tool, right? Let's end everything and like select, delete, or if you want to make it as a ripple delete, right? We can do ripple thing. And instead of using blade tool, you can always use command B. Same like control V, add edit option, we can use command B. It will cut the entire tracks. And when it comes to the tracks, here we have like, by seeing this, we can lock the entire tracks. And this is auto selection. The small button you will find in Premiere and Final Cut Pro 7 also, right? Auto selection of the tracks. While adding transitions or while cutting, we can disable for the particular tracks. It is the auto selection, and this is for enabling and disabling the tracks. Okay. And for the single clip, if you want to enable or disable, it's a simple option. By clicking D, you can enable or disable the option. Okay, right click. And for if you want to disable entire track, you can use this option. Okay, auto selection. And by default, it will create one audio and one video track while creating a timeline. But what about the timeline settings and what about the project settings, right? You people are working with HD project as per my knowledge, right? HD projects and 5.1 sound.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So while creating a timeline, right? Creating a timeline, we can use custom settings. Or here, by default, it will add one video track, one audio track, and we can change it. Even for the audio also, we can make it as a 5.1. And for custom settings, we can change the format and everything. Okay. But by default, if you want to create a particular, regularly I'm working with, let's say DVPAL project or maybe HD project. If you want to make it as a preset, for current projects, you can use this project setting. Click here. This is for the current project. Okay. And if you want to change for the new timelines and everything, go to file. Same project settings you will find here. And this thing, right? So I made it as a HD project. For whatever the timeline I create, by default, it will create a HD. But if you want to create maybe 720 project or anything, you can change it, and maybe frame rate also. Right? And you can save it as a preset. In Adobe, we can make lots of presets for the project settings also, right? So same thing we can create with this thing also. Save as preset, it will automatically create the presets. But so these are master settings, and we will discuss with the rendering and everything in later sessions. Okay, so just cancel. So while creating a timeline, we can able to mention how many tracks do we need to add, right? By right clicking, add tracks. Without knowing anything also, we'll try all these options, right? By right clicking and adding tracks and even subtitles. About the subtitles, we'll discuss in title session. Okay, so adding video tracks, or even without adding video track also, by simply dragging to the top layer, it will automatically creates a new track, right? So okay, maybe for this clip, I'm making in and out points, and here we do have like panel buttons: detach, attach, V1, V2, A1, A2. Like by simply clicking, we can enable and disable these tracks. We can select source and destination buttons, same like in Final Cut Pro 7, right? And if you don't want to add audio, we will always detach this portion. And in DaVinci, okay, same like Adobe, we do have these options. By dragging, we can add, we are adding both audio and video. Let me add one audio track also. So let me add a stereo track. Okay. We are adding audio track and video track, right? But if you want to add only video, simply drag. Okay. Simply drag, and audio only for audio. It is showing. only audio and video, right? And for the remaining options in Canvas, the insert, overwrite, replace, we do know replace, right? Based on playhead position, it will replace the clip. So in 7 and Premiere, the replace option, right? So it will not consider in and outs. It will consider only the playhead position, right? We'll gang the playhead and we'll try to match the frames, right? And fit to fill, by making speed changes, place on top, it will automatically superimposes that clip. And the append is always adds at the end of your project. Instead of adding at the playhead position, right? So even though my playhead is here, if we do insert or override, what will happen? It will add the particular clip at the playhead position, right? But if I use append option, it will automatically adds at the end of the clip, right? And just observe the clip. What is ripple overwrite? Ripple overwrite is nothing but a replace command which will replaces only that particular clip. Did you get it? It is not overwriting the timeline. It is just replacing that particular clip only, right? If I click overwrite, what will happen? It will overwrite the timeline portion. But see the playhead and everything. If I ripple overwrite, it will only replaces the particular clip only, right? So these are the options, okay? And yeah, are we going like in a fast way?
No.
I don't think so. These are like pretty basic things, right? Yeah. And by seeing the symbols, you already know these tools, the snapping and the linking and everything. And even we can use Option or Alt key without disabling the link tool. We can able to select individually also by holding Option key, right? All right. Let me, okay. So we have zoom in, zoom out options. And here is one option called timeline view options. Just click here, you will find option related to timelines. You can work with multiple timelines simultaneously, like timeline view options. And if you want to see the waveforms and everything, just click this option. If you have a subtitles track, if you want to enable and disable the subtitles, that means view options, you can use this. And timeline view options, it will make it as like you will see in 7, right? If you open multiple timelines. Okay, I will do one thing. Let me disable this one. I will create one more timeline by selecting particular clips. With the selection also, we can able to create a timeline. Simply right click on any selection. You will see the new option, create new timeline using selected clips. Okay, so just click here. Maybe so I'm keeping the same name like timeline 2, so we can see the difference between timeline 1 and timeline 2. Okay, so just click create. Now it's a timeline 2. So timeline 1 and timeline 2, we do have one option to create a separate bin for timelines also. It will automatically creates a bin. It will automatically creates a bin for timelines. So this is the timeline 1 and this is the timeline 2, right? But if you want to see both the timelines at a time, click the timeline options. You need to enable this option, stack timelines. Okay, just click here. Now we can able to see timeline 1 and timeline 2 here itself the same like the Final Cut Pro and the Premiere Pro, right? But we do have one more option. We can create versions of timelines, right? different versions of timelines we'll create with the slight changes. At that time, if you want to compare both the timelines, here we do have one option, right? Simply click this button. It will add a separate timeline section at the bottom. Now, this section is a different one and this section is a different one. We can able to see. Let me close this timeline 2 here. We can open. Simply select and click timeline 2 here. Now, see, we can able to see both the timelines at a time, and whatever the selected timeline, we are seeing that timeline preview in selected timeline preview in the canvas, right? And let me, and even we can move clips in between timeline also. Even we can, if you have a 3 timelines, you can add one more stacking also. Like we can stack up the timelines, number of timelines, so that we can move clips even in between. Okay, let me change the view options, video and as well as audio. Right. So if you want to move this clip into this timeline, simply drag and drop. Or if you let me do one thing. Oh, something is not working here, but we do have that option. We can always I think there is a problem with the application. It suddenly shut down. Let me open this one. These things happens in edit room also, right? The applications, they suddenly shut downs and everything, right? But here we did not use any save option like Command S, right? But we did select the live save option, right? So most of the time we won't lose any work here. It's while closing, whatever the work is here, it's already saved, right? Now we can able to move in between timelines also. Okay, just from this timeline, I want to move this clip to the some other timeline. Simply select and drag. We can able to move clips without copy pasting. We can able to do these things. Like if you want to close any particular timeline, so here we do have this option. Simply close the timeline, right? And to do the comparative work, it is very useful. And let me ask you a thing. While working with audio, in FCP7, we can able to see the channels, right? If we have like 2 channel or 4 channels, while importing itself, we can able to see those channels in audio tracks like A1, A2, right? But in Premiere, we can able to see only one track, even though before adding, we can modify the channels to see the separate channels. Did you find that difference? No? Are you getting what I'm asking?
No, sir.
Yeah, in Final Cut Pro 7, we can able to see the channels, audio channels A1, A2, right? While adding it to the timeline, it will create a 2 tracks for the channels, right?
You mean to say the single audio track for the stereo picture, left one and the right one?
Yeah, exactly.
So here we have a stereo clip, but we are seeing it as a single.
As a single clip, same like in Adobe Premiere, right? we can change the setting. So convert to linked groups. When you click this one, it will automatically separate the channels. Now we can able to see both the left and right channels with the separate thing, right? But once we separate this thing for this timeline, it remains the same. We cannot go back to the single track thing, right? Right, simply right click and you need to select convert to linked group. And for the audio levels and everything, it's the same, right? Adjusting audio levels. And okay, so we completed this portion, right? The tool section, maybe up to here, the link selection tool, and we do have the lock position also. This is nothing but it will lock the entire tracks by simply clicking this one. Now you can able to see the all tracks are locked, right? So without without locking individual track, we can lock the entire tracks at a time by simply clicking this thing. Okay, it's the same thing, but we can do with all the tracks at a time. And here we do have the flags and markers. This is the flags and this is markers. We all are using markers, right?
Yes.
There is nothing much to discuss in markers. Here we have timeline markers, as well as by selecting we can add even clip markers also. By clicking option M or maybe M twice, it will open up the name, description and everything. So here I'm let me say add effect maybe for this clip I'm adding maybe like, let's say speed changes, and even double clicking we can assign any color also. And but what is the difference between flags and markers? If I click flag, select flag only adds to a selected clip, not to the timeline. As for the markers, we can add it to the timeline or to the clip, but whereas flags, it will add to the clip only. That means if you for the next, some other person doing titling work, for this clip you want to add a certain description at that portion, you can add a tag. Whereas marker at particular frame, there is something you need to hide in the canvas at particular frame, so we can use markers. Those things are pretty much same, markers and flags, but flag for the entire clip, marker for the particular frame. Okay, then and when you add any flag or marker, we are adding to the source clip also. Okay, and but we can see the overlays, marker name and everything, right? Add effect and everything. So those options you can enable and disable here, even the time code overlays and everything. Okay, and the markers, the particular marker section, you want to move to a particular marker section, right? And what if you want to find out a particular marker within the timeline or particular clip within the timeline? So here, next to the media pool, here we do have FX library. It's like FX thing. Like we have transitions, filters and everything. And next to that, we have edit index. Edit index is, it's like index for your timeline. Whatever the clip you have used, it will automatically identifies the track and everything. Here you can see the markers and even the keywords also. So by right clicking, we can able to add the markers, keywords, and if you have any optimized media, it will automatically identify that particular portion. Okay, so if you want to identify the particular marker within your timeline, you can always use this edit index window. Okay, so media pool, if you want to use the entire interface, you can hide this portion, right? And if you have lots of footage in your browser, like you can make even dual media pool also. So you can able to see now we have two media pools, so that we can organize our rush with a kind of flexibility, right? So dual pane mode. And yeah, we have already seen these options, the zoom in, zoom out, and track height selections and everything, right? And okay, let me double click. And okay, let me show you one thing. If you have any flags, it will represent that flag in any other, like even if in the Fusion or maybe in the color page also, you can see the same flag. Okay, maybe if you want to adjust the saturation of this clip, you can add tag to that clip. You can mention so that color guy can make the changes to a particular clip. We can able to see the tags even in the color page also, so that the color guy can know what they want to do with that particular clip. Okay, same thing with the Fusion page also. You can able to see the clips and everything. Yeah, I need to isolate the particular portion. You can able to see the color tag itself, and it's like a compressor marker, or we'll use in FCP7, right? Same kind of thing, markers and tags. Right, okay. Let's jump to the cut page. We'll discuss about the adding filters and everything in next session. Let me tell you something about the cut page. Simply jump to the cut page. It is pretty much similar to the timeline, right? Edit page, but we are not seeing much of the tracks. Everything we are seeing as a single, like in top portion we are seeing everything, the entire timeline, and the bottom portion it is showing the zoom thing only, like the zoom timeline we can able to trim. But see here, while I am trimming, it is not creating any gaps here. Okay, so it is directly repealing that particular timeline. And some people, they use cut page instead of edit page, like for the faster editing, if it's a simple kind of work. So let me show you one thing. Like within that page, we do have only one viewer. This is act as the viewer and the canvas. The timelines and everything, we don't have any tools here. Like some new options when compared to the edit page. You will see some interesting names also. Boring detector. Okay, boring detector, and add cutting, add smooth cut, and everything. Okay, but before that, we do have lots of options within the canvas. Now before starting work, we have to browse each and everything. We have to see each and every clip, right? But instead of doing individually, in cut page, we do have one option called, it's called source tape option. When you click that option, this option, right? When you click that option, it will merge all the clips and it will show you entire thing as a single clip. Now we can able to see everything, right? Instead of, and even in the media pool, you can able to see which clip is selected while playing itself. So instead of playing it individually, it will merge and show everything. And even we can add in and outs for that particular clips, for that particular portion. It may be some of the portion from the two clips. We can create in and outs. And we do have that options, smart insert. Smart insert means just observe the playhead. It is not in between the edit points, right? It's somewhere on the clip, right? If I click smart insert, it will add that particular clip to the nearest edit point. Not exactly at the playhead position, it will add that clip at the nearest edit point. Okay, but here no need to place that particular playhead over the edit point. So it is the smart edit window. And within the tape view, here we can add the fast forward option, fast review. Just click, it automatically reviews everything based on the clip duration. That means, let's say there are multiple clips, some of the with 5-second duration, some with 30 seconds, some with 2 minutes duration. For 5 seconds clip, it will maintain some speed. For 30 seconds clip, it will try to fast forward. Okay, it will automatically adjust the playback speed. You can able to see some clips, it is fast forwarding for some clips. Now see this kind of little fast forwarding based on the duration only. Maybe for some clip, you may find a little slow based on the duration, right? And click next to that, we do have this option. It's you can say it as a scrubbing wheel. We do have in a viewer in Final Cut Pro 7, the scrubbing wheels. We can able to click and drag that particular portion based on your mouse movement, speed, you are fast forwarding, you are seeing it frame by frame and everything. Okay, and these are like basic navigation controls. But here next to the fast forward window, we do have tools option, right? Let me click this one. There is let me just check this one. Yeah. Double click tools. Right now, see next to the tools button, we can able to access the basic tools like the transform thing, the zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, the panning and everything, crop, right? So adjusting audio levels and everything, basic speed changes, but it is only for you can say for small kind of work thing. If you want to edit and output in a like 5 to 10 minute duration, you can use the cut page. Okay, and whatever the options you are seeing, you won't find the full-fledged option within the cut page, like the keyframing and everything. If you want to do the keyframing and everything, you once again you need to come back to the edit page only. It is for fast reference and to do minute changes only, the cut pages. Okay, and instead of that, there is a beautiful option in cut page. It's called syncing and sync bins. But for the sync bins and syncing, we will see it in while discussing multicam edit. Okay, while doing multicam editing, we'll use how to use sync bins and syncing options, the audio video syncing or the multicam syncing and everything. Uh, most of the time we'll stick with edit page only, but sometimes we may use the cut page. Cut page direct options means like by clicking one button, it will directly adds the transition, right? Just by clicking simple one button, it will add only cross dissolve to the nearest edit point. And the next option is nothing. It removes the transition only, but they made it as a separate option. Instead of deleting it separately, by clicking this option, the nearest transition will be deleted. And this is the smooth cut option. And you can say it's a morph cut. If you want to cover jump cuts, we can use this smooth cut transition. It will act as a morphing thing. We do have this option in Premiere Pro. The smooth out the jump cut, right? I don't remember the name of the transition. It's a kind of smooth cut, and let me add and show you the house. It's a smooth cut. It's a kind of morphing thing, morphing effect. But we'll use the smooth cut for the jump cuts only. And in cut page, we do have pretty much same options like the inserting, appending, the overwriting and everything, right? And here, I don't think this option is very useful. Boring detector means if you have lengthy shots, like it will automatically identifies. If I stick with 15 seconds, what will it do? It will identify the particular shots more, which is longer than 15 seconds, right? And it's shorter than 5 frames. It will automatically identifies the particular portion, right? And we do have the cut option, like simply split Command B option, right? And there is one option we can lock the playhead here itself, so that timeline will move. Instead of locking and everything, it will continuously move, and the timeline will be remains at particular portion. Okay. Do I need to stop?
No. Please continue.
Can you able to hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, of course,
Hello?
sir.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hello, we are
Hello?
hearing you.
Yes, sir. I am hearing
Can
you.
you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Can you able to hear me?
Oh, camera.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever the things we are discussing in first session, I just want to give you a brief idea, like the comparative workflow of your previous applications and the difference. So whatever the things we have discussed now, is most of the things is already known by you people, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is, the first session will be like, okay, most of the things is known, we can able to work with the DaVinci kind of thing. In later session, from tomorrow, so we'll try to jump into a deeper concept of DaVinci, like the managing media, and see whatever the content we have discussed till now is pretty much known to you, right? the importing,
sir.
marking, subclip, timeline options, and everything, right? It's the same thing. There is nothing new in the entire thing. Maybe some few options, right? Other than that, everything is same. So, and this is the basic concept of DaVinci. And what we do from tomorrow is we'll discuss the more and more options, right? And we'll discuss uh, the keyframing metadata thing and everything, how to use these options, what is dynamic to stabilization, retiming, lens correction, and everything about the inspector, and basic audio editing in edit page. Basic audio editing means if you want to manage audio levels, yeah, we do know that, like, by simply dragging we can always adjust the audio levels, right? And you will find default audio mixer here itself. By clicking this option, it will automatically enables the audio mixer. Okay, audio mixer. And if you want to see the audio meters, it will automatically, it's a very -20 means it's very less audio. Okay. Audio mixer. And even we'll discuss the advanced options of the audio also within the edit page, as well as in the Fairlight page. Fairlight page is nothing but audio post-production thing. Okay, so whatever the editor can do in Fairlight page, we will discuss those things, okay, along with the timeline options, right? And we'll see some other options like the speed changes and everything, the clip duration and clip speed, retiming curves, and like how to access the curve area. It is same like Premiere Pro. We can able to see these options in Premiere Pro also. Like the keyframing, we can able to see within the clip for the Premiere Pro, but for not the Final Cut Pro. So how to access the keyframe editor. So we do have a lot more to discuss. Maybe I'm trying to cover most of the portions here and there within the 8-hour session, right? It's difficult to cover each and everything, right? We may miss most of the things. Within the 8-hour session. We'll concentrate on like main topics. So we'll do one thing. The topics which I want to concentrate, like from your side, if you can make a note on that particular topics, we can stick with the topics and we can like spend much time for the topics. Okay, maybe you can send me through message through WhatsApp, or you can mail me. Okay, and we'll concentrate that particular topics. Okay, and I heard that some of you people already working or already exploring DaVinci Resolve.
You know,
Yeah,
one person is a color.
colorist, sir. Sir, actually, our basic question.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, go on, sir.
Actually, where this project save, and can I open some other machine, the same project? So far, I am taking from XML,
Okay.
from editor. So can I open the same project in my DaVinci?
Yeah,
Where
even,
this project? Just show me that project, sir.
sorry.
Just show me the current project, where the
Location of the project saved.
Yeah, location of the project is by default, it will saves into the local hard disk, right? That means this will be this here, you are seeing everything, your projects and everything. But if you want to send your project, only your project, you can able to export the project only. Right?
Export the project. How?
Yeah, export project. It is not like exporting timeline. We are not rendering the timeline. We are just exporting it.
Now, without exporting, can I copy that project and open in my DaVinci?
Yeah, that means you need to have a shared database so that you can able to open that thing. That means here you need to create a new database with the shared storage, shared connection, so that you can able to access that project without exporting and without opening it. Anyway, we'll discuss about the project management and database management in maybe final sessions.
Okay.
Okay. And right now you are exporting XML and you are importing that thing in your machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, without both. I am a colorist. I am working in DaVinci. The editor also working in DaVinci. So I can open the project, like the main scenario.
Yeah. For studio version, we do have that option.
Okay, sir.
Live sharing option. Anyway, we'll discuss that option also.
Okay, sir.
It's like creating a database with the shared thing.
Yeah.
So that people can access the project and everything.
And one more question: the cut page, the real life, the cut page will work out, sir?
It's if you are a Final Cut Pro 10 user, then you will use cut page. You can see it, right? You people might have seen the FCP10 timeline.
Yes.
Right? It's a storyline kind of thing. You will see same thing here also, but you can create a tracks, audio tracks and video tracks in cut page. Yeah, but maybe for YouTubers, they may use the vloggers and everyone, they may use cut page instead of going for a professional edit.
Okay.
But people are using cut page.
Basic editing, okay.
Yeah, not for the professional edit, for the basic edit.
Yes.
And in cut page, I like this option, like the source tape option. The marking and scrub through all the clips at a time and everything. And for any editors are there who are using DaVinci?
Yes, I want to edit, but I do color correction.
Okay, you do color correction only, and you are doing color correction from past, like
from Adobe.
From Adobe.
Adobe XML.
Okay, from Adobe. Okay. I mean, like you are doing color correction from, since like most of you people are seniors, I think.
Last 2 years.
Sorry, sir.
Last 2 years I am using.
Okay, you are using color. Okay. And only for the color page, it will take a lot of time if you want to discuss each and everything. But I'll try to cover most of the portion related to color, like how to do the primary corrections, how to do the secondary corrections, like using power windows, the qualifier, and for the editors, maybe the stabilization and everything. And there are multiple options, like we can do chroma keying even in color page also. We can do chroma keying in Fusion page also. Masking, tracking and everything. It's like a professional color grading application, right? It will take a lot of time to cover the entire thing, but we'll try to stick with particular topics. And for the edit page, is there any doubts, like while you're working, did you have anything related to edit page? Like the options, while working the options,
Actually, waveform loading is very slow, I think. Waveform, audio waveform.
Audio waveform loading or visibility?
Visibility of the audio waveform is very. You see here in your timeline,
Yeah.
there are 7 clips, I think. Only 2 of them are showing waveform.
Yeah. Actually, this is without audio. There is no audio. And whereas here it's like you can see the audio meters here. It's playing somewhere around at 20 decibel. So that's why we are seeing. Let me. Okay, I will add a music track. Now you can able to see it, right?
Okay.
It's playing somewhere in 1 dB, and you can able to adjust the audio waveform also, like based on your viewing style. Here audio view options, we have like the regular option, right? Audio tracks, we can able to change the view option of the thing also. Those who are like habituated to Final Cut Pro 10, this is the audio waveform for the Final Cut Pro 10 users, right? We can able to change the shape of audio waveform also, like the visibility of audio waveform. And if you are unable to see the waveform, means that means the everything is like disabled. You're like, you need to click this option. Right? Other than that, actually for first day only we yeah, go on.
Regarding keyboard shortcuts and all.
Yeah, so that's what I said. We'll do most of the things with the menu options, and
Okay.
I will share the keyboard shortcuts. And the thing is, you anyway you are using Premiere and Final Cut Pro. We do have that option, like we can convert our keyboard settings to, like, if you are a Adobe user, you can make your keyboard as a like Adobe shortcuts. You can use Adobe shortcuts. So DaVinci.
We can customize our keyboard.
Sorry.
Keyboard customize. Yeah. Okay. We can customize our keyboard.
Yeah, you can customize keyboard, and even you can change the keyboard also. But unfortunately, there is no Final Cut Pro 7 keyboard.
Oh.
It's a Adobe Premiere Pro only. And anyway, but most of the keyboard shortcuts, they are like, for example, F9, F10, there is the same shortcuts, insert and overwrite, like FCP7.
Okay.
You will find similar things as well as the new things. Anyway, I will share those shortcuts also, like a PDF file. If you want to change, or maybe we can even customize the entire keyboard itself also. Now I need to, like, I don't want to use this option. Simply click and make changes to that keyboard, and you can save it as a new keyboard layout. Okay, same like any other application. Okay.
What about solo selection of the clip?
So
solo selection.
Soloing, audio soloing.
Audio video.
Audio, okay. So here we have the same option, solo and mute. Solo options, mute. It is not mono, it is mute. It will mute.
No. Not like this. When we are using FCP7 for a multi-camera like work.
Okay.
Multi-layer like.
Okay.
We can soloing a V1 track or V2 track. Other clips will be muted.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, that means you need to disable the track, right?
disable the other tracks.
Okay,
You want
disable.
Individual.
See, in FCP7 we have.
Yeah, I got it. Like, let me add this
We
clip
have
here.
five layers clip.
If we clip, we are disabling only that particular track, right?
Yeah. I
By,
want to disable.
by holding option key, other than that, we are disabling the remaining tracks. Now see, by holding option, I am disabling the track only. Hold option and click the particular track. It will enables only that particular track and disables the remaining tracks.
You are speaking about track level. I'm speaking about individual clip.
Single clip. Single clip.
See, in FCP7 we have 5 layers of clips.
Okay.
You just that shortcut key is Control S.
Okay.
So automatically this clip I select, that only enable. Rest of the clips is disabled.
Disable.
That clip key name is Solo Selector.
Okay.
Shortcut is Control S. Control S in
Yes.
FCP7.
In FCP7. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I need to check that option whether we do have that option.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Let me write this thing. Solo selection of the clip, right?
Yeah, it's not in the Premiere also.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Even we do miss some options in DaVinci also. Like it will take 2 to 3 steps to create a freeze frame for a simple freeze frame also, other than using Shift 10. Like we do miss that options, but I will see we do have enabling, disabling the options for the particular clip. What you are saying is you need to see only that particular clip and you need to disable the other clips.
Other clips of the same place.
Same place in V2, V3, V4 tracks, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I will check that option.
Okay.
So maybe in tomorrow's session, I will let you know whether we do have this option or not.
Surely.
Okay. And we do have like 5 more minutes.
Sir, you were actually talking about selecting the clips in the media pool and creating a timeline individually there itself.
Yes, sir.
But can we do that if we have a part of the clip selected there and when we selected multiple clips and
It will create only with the selection also. Even instead of going into the viewer, we can mark the particular portion here also, like in and out. Okay.
And we can create a timeline with only
with the selection only. What?
Can we do the same with the keyboards thing also, sir?
Keyboard? Sorry.
Keywords. We are adding keywords to the clip now, sir.
Exactly. That is not possible. Keywords is only to manage the things. Here, see the keywords. We added interview keyword earlier, right? So with the keywords, if the marking is there, then we can create by selecting that clips only. Okay.
We cannot give individual keywords to the selection inside the clip.
Yeah, if we have individual selections, it will automatically add only that particular selected portion, not the entire clip.
Okay. So if we have a couple of selections in the same clip, then sir?
There is no option, the multiple selection options. We can, we do have only, we can add only one in and out points. If I try to add one more in point, it will automatically move that in point, right?
Okay. Then you're not able to give multiple keywords to single clip.
Multiple keywords we can give, not multiple selections. Multiple in and out. You're talking about keywords or in and outs?
I'm trying to give a couple of keywords to a clip, multiple selections, multiple in and outs. Sir, ஒரே clipல
லைக் சைட்
இல்ல சார், நம்ம இப்போ ஒரே கிளிப்ல 2 பார்ட் நம்ம in and out வச்சிருக்கோம் சார். இப்போ இதுக்கு ஒரு கீவேர்ட் அதுக்கு ஒரு கீவேர்ட் நம்ம கொடுக்கலாமா?
In a single clip,
Okay.
We have two in and outs.
Okay,
And
there
can
is
we
no
give two in and
option.
out separate keywords?
We can add separate keywords for
For
a
a same
single
clip.
clip, for a same
Yeah.
clip, but we cannot add multiple in and outs for a same clip like FCP10.
Oh, okay.
That is
Okay,
what
sir. Okay, sir.
that is what your doubt?
Yeah, yes, sir. I got it, sir.
Okay, fine. Even we can add multiple keywords to a single clip. Let's say this is the girl shot, and with the interview or with the close-up, we can add 3 keywords. You will find the same shot in those 3 keywords,
All of the things. Okay.
but not multiple in and outs.
Okay.
And if you want to reset and everything, or maybe interface, go to workspace, reset everything. Or if you want to reset your entire DaVinci Resolve to a default settings, maybe if you have changed some option, like go to DaVinci Resolve preferences for the system, for the user, maybe you can like reset user preferences. It will reset everything. It will go back to the default settings and everything, and that means we enabled smart bins, everything, right? It will go back to the default thing. It will reset everything. If you have any problem with your DaVinci Resolve, you can always reset your preferences here. And
Are these windows detachable, sir?
Like viewer canvas windows are separately.
no. Some of them are detachable, but not viewer canvas, and we can make it like we can change the interface and we can save the layout, but not like you are asking like Adobe and Final Cut Pro 7, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is not possible. For some windows it is possible.
For timeline, sir?
For like maybe waveform section and everything, you can make it as a separate layout. Separate layout means separate, you can bring that as a separate floating window, but not for the everything. If you are using a dual monitor, then it's a different thing.
For dual monitor, can we make it a separate window for timeline, sir?
I'm not sure about that, but as per my knowledge, we don't have that option. I never use that option.
Oh.
You want me to check that option?
Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, but in FCP7 also there is no detachable timeline option, I think.
We can
we
move a
can
timeline to a second monitor.
Sorry?
In FCP7, we can move timeline window to a second monitor, dual monitor.
Yeah, same thing we can do with the DaVinci also, dual monitor. So that's what I'm saying. If we are using 2 monitors, we do have that option. We can see the entire timeline in a separate monitor.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have that option, but within the single monitor, I don't think that option is available. The dual monitor screen, we can able to adjust everything.
Okay. So on the second monitor, we can bring the timeline.
Yeah, we can use the timeline for the second monitor, or maybe you can use the broadcast monitor, maybe 3 monitors. We do have that option.
Okay. So this audio levels adjusting and all you will be explaining in the coming session, sir?
Yeah, we'll use Fairlight also. The basic audio levels adjustment anyway we'll discuss in edit page, and other than like submixing, like you want to use audio mixer, like while, and the ducking options, the auto keyframing options. we do have that keyframe recording for audio options, right?
Yeah.
Those options, they have moved from edit page to Fairlight page. Like
Okay.
we'll use how to make and everything. We'll use the Fairlight page, and
Okay.
how to create submixes and everything. We'll see in Fairlight page. And I have a request from your side also, like how to create a 5.1 output and everything.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll see how automatically it creates a 5.1, or how we can build it from a scratch. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be covering some portion of Fairlight also.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, the auto keyframing and everything. I hope you won't miss anything. Anyway, most of you people are lot more experienced people. I can learn from you people, right? No. It's true, sir. It happens in lots of trainings,
Okay.
right? I did learn lot of things from the training sessions only.
Oh.
Like you people work in a practical world, right? For example, this solo selection, I never used this option. I stick with only multicam option, and from past 5 years I haven't worked with FCP7 and FCP10. They do have like advanced multicam options. No need to disable, enable anything. So I need to check with the solo option. That's what I'm saying. I can learn from you people. Right. And is there anything from this session, like the basic doubts? Those who are working with DaVinci. Yeah, when you start working with the DaVinci, like you will love the application. Maybe in initial stage, you may feel like a little bit awkward, like we are habituated to. I think most of you people may not be using mouse also. You go with the shortcuts, right? Just like a typing machine. So it makes you somewhat difficult in initial stage. But if you can give time, maybe like for you people, 2 to 3 weeks are enough. You will find a lot more options, like flexible thing with the DaVinci. Okay. Even compared to Premiere also, I think they do have lots of customization options. Premiere, like we may miss lot of things while customizing. Right. And so shall we close the session? So from tomorrow onwards, we'll stick with the topics only. In today's session, I will just briefly explained here and there everything, so that you will get to know about the application. Now you have some idea, right? You can work with the DaVinci. Most of the options are very similar to the earlier applications, right? So is there anything you people want to say, like regarding my explanation and everything, so that I can change according to your requirement?
Okay.
It's fine, sir.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So tomorrow also 11 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So shall we close the session? Yeah, tomorrow we'll only strictly stick with the topics. We can go by a flow, like topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, so that we can cover the most of the portion of DaVinci, right?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wish you the same, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Huh?